Hey, it is Sunday, November 3rd. As you know or don't know, you will now. November is Diabetic Awareness Month, so I'm coming on here live every single day to share something about type 1 diabetes, as my daughter Molly, who's 14, is a diabetic. So this has become a platform for me and something that I care very deeply about. So happy Diabetic Awareness Month. What I wanted to talk to you today about is insulin. And we're going to talk about the cost of insulin another time, because that's a whole nother topic in and of itself. But what I want to tell you is there is no cure for type 1. There is no cure on the horizon at this point for type 1. What the cure is for Molly, or not the cure, what the solution is for Molly at this point is insulin. It's the only thing that will help Molly. It's the only thing that's going to keep Molly alive. And I often have people say things like, have you ever tried a low carb diet? Have you ever tried cinnamon? Have you ever tried, you guys, we get offered all kinds of great cures that aren't really cures. And I know it always usually comes from a really good spot. It usually comes from somebody who's wanting to help, someone who believes that maybe they have an answer that we haven't been made aware of. But at this point, it is very windy today. At this point, the only thing that will help Molly is insulin. So here's what I want to share. When you think about insulin, when I have people who say things to me like, have you ever tried a low carb diet? Or, of course, we've thought of those things. And here's what I want to share. Even if you're not a diabetic, you require insulin every single day. You and I require insulin, even though we have perfectly functioning bodies. You and I require insulin every day. The difference is our bodies naturally produce it, and Molly's cannot any longer produce insulin. Her pancreas does not any longer have the capability of producing insulin for her body. So even if we did a low carb diet, a no carb diet, your body still requires insulin to function. So, although those diets would require less insulin going into Molly's body, it would still require insulin. So I think that's an important thing to think about, because I think sometimes people think if they give us a solution or something that would eliminate carbohydrates or cut down carbohydrates, it's going to eliminate the need for insulin, and that's absolutely false. Insulin is the only thing that can keep Molly alive right now on a daily basis until there is a permanent cure. So insulin's a medication. It is not a cure, and that's why we advocate. But even low carb, even no carb, you're still going to need insulin in your body to function every single day. You use it, I use it. The blessing for us is our body produces it naturally, and hers no longer does, which is why she has to give herself shots of insulin, because her sweet little body just can't do it. So that's what I wanted to share today. So yes, although low carb diets would require less insulin, it still requires insulin. That's a daily need for Molly. It's a daily need for you and I. Just be grateful that your pancreas, if you're not a diabetic, naturally produces what hers could no longer do. So anyway, tomorrow I'm going to come on here. I'm going to talk a little bit tomorrow about the cost. And I mentioned insulin in the beginning and the cost. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about the cost of some of the technologies and medications that Molly uses, because it's a huge drain on type 1 families, the financial side of it. As if the emotional side of it is not enough, the financial burden side of it is extreme. So I'll share that tomorrow with you guys. And until then, I just ask that you continue to fight with us until type 1 is type none. Love you guys. Have a great day. It's gorgeous here in Indiana. Blue skies. So I hope you guys are having a good weekend too. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.